Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I'd do a sort of get to know you video. I realised that when I started my channel, I launched straight into my tutorials and product reviews, and I never really gave you a chance to get to know me, so I thought I would do that today. I'm just going to go through a few questions about me, and hopefully we'll get to know each other a little bit better, so if you're interested, please keep on watching. My name's Tom Fraser, and I'm originally from the Wirral, which is a little peninsula in the northwest of England between Liverpool and Wales. People are often surprised when I tell them that I'm essentially from Liverpool. I was actually born in Liverpool because I don't have a super strong Scouse accent, but definitely there are words if you listen out that you'll hear the Scouse accent. I'm turning the big 3-0 this year, so it may not be quite the birthday party that I'd planned with the current situation that's going on. However, I do hope that I'll be able to celebrate with a few friends. Gosh, I've been a makeup artist now for about 5 or maybe 5.5 years. My transition into makeup artistry wasn't sort of like the typical linear thing. I actually had a job, a complete different job before. I graduated from university where I studied languages, and I went into an office job, and I was a translator for about 4 years. I started off full time, and then maybe 2 years in realised it wasn't quite for me. I didn't really like the office environment, so I started to try and experiment with makeup. I shot on the weekends, I made as many contacts as I could, I did tests, I did editorials, I tried to get every job that I could, but it was very, very difficult to get it off the ground. I also tried to do some assisting, but the assisting jobs really, as someone with no experience, was so last minute, and I couldn't always get the time off my office job to go and do them. I took a job on a makeup counter on weekends, so I was working 7 days a week for quite a long time. It was a real struggle, but I knew that makeup was something that I really wanted to do. At about 4 years in, I managed to leave the office, and I took my translation sort of to a freelance basis, which again is another really tricky thing because you have to build up clients slowly over time. So all the while that I was doing all of those shoots, working on a makeup counter, also having a full-time office job, I was desperately trying to fit in translation, sort of freelance, so that I could build up that repertoire. It was a much more flexible way of working, so I could do that at night time if I needed to, but still earn some money to keep myself afloat while I was building my makeup career. It was a very stressful time, and I was exhausted and burnt out, and I don't think that's a good thing. However, makeup is a very tricky industry to get into. It's heavily oversaturated now, especially because there's so much education here online, but I really wanted to do it, and I haven't looked back since. In the first few years that I worked as a makeup artist, I definitely did assist. I think that was very important because although I felt like a professional because I'd had an office job and I knew how sort of industries in general work, I didn't really know anything about the makeup industry, certainly not about fashion. I didn't really know how it worked on a set. I didn't know how it worked on a production, who to contact, who to speak to, what's going on. Like, I really didn't know a thing. So I did assist a few different artists. On the whole, I had really nice experiences where people were really trusting and they really believed in me, and they did let me do more makeup than I think you're expected to do as an assistant. A lot of the time you are really there to sort of, you know, help wash brushes, find products, run to and from set, but I was just so lucky to work with some incredible people who really trusted me and let me get stuck right in with them. I probably didn't assist as long as most people normally do, but I was so driven at this point, having given up this really stable, well-paid career for my dream. I was like, I have got to make this work. I'd given up basically everything, all of my free time, all of my private life, and I was so driven to make it work, and sort of forge my way in my career. It's still a bit of a rocky road, especially as with the most recent year. We all know things can be completely swiped from under us, but you know, I felt like I was in a comfortable place before the lockdown, and hopefully as things go on, I will be able to get that back. So my interest in makeup actually started when I was very young. I used to have horrific cystic acne, and I suffered with that all the way until my early 20s. I found it very difficult to ever go outside without my face covered, so I learned makeup from quite a young age in sort of desperation, really, to try and cover up my acne. For most of those years, I did a very, very bad job, and I think I only sort of knew how to cover and plaster my face in concealer, whack on a load of full coverage powder. I didn't really have the tools to know how to do it properly. Thankfully now I do, and over time I built up those skills. But that was sort of my first foray into loving and understanding makeup. And then during university, I was really into character makeup, special effects, at a very basic level, nothing like what you'd actually need to be a professional, special effects person. It was really just Halloweeny, but I would do makeup for university clubs and basically any sort of university activity where they'd need sort of like a backstage team, and I'd go along with my sleek makeup and think I was really pro. I think I must have had maybe like 5 to 10 brushes and I was so obsessed with it, but that again was just something I thought was really, really great. So I kind of always did want to be a makeup artist, and people always asked, why didn't you just go straight into it? But I almost just didn't believe in myself or even in the industry. I didn't know how to do it. All I'd heard was that you have to sort of suffer for years on years on years with no money, no security, no help. Being an assistant is a very, very tough life, especially if you're doing it full time and you don't get paid very much. The hours are long, and I think I was just really attracted to the stability of a full-time job and an office job. But it just turned out as I was going through it, I really didn't like it. I just could tell it didn't suit me. And when I eventually told people that I was becoming a makeup artist, they were like, finally, about time. This is what you've always wanted. I guess it doesn't sound exciting to most people, but natural makeup is really where I'm at. I love enhancing makeup that isn't thick, cakey, or heavy. I like to see skin. I love big, bushy brows. I just want people to feel not caked in makeup. I really, really respect the precision and skill and effort it takes to do a big full glam makeup. And when I do things like drag, I get to channel that. And even sometimes on editorials, I get to really experiment with more makeup and more color. But my sweet spot really is just enhancing someone's natural beauty and making someone feel like the best version of themselves. For me, the most challenging thing is that you really have to control where your career is going. And unless you are constantly switched on and constantly driven, constantly making new connections, then it's really, really hard to be successful. You have to be constantly reaching out to new clients, constantly making new connections, spending your weekends shooting editorials and doing tests to meet new people and make new teams. It's something that you just can't rest on your laurels. So you have to really have the energy to want to do this job. You could be sort of happily sitting away, working with your regular clients, and somebody, the booker or the producer, leaves that company. The next person who comes in has a whole different book of people that they work with, so you may never work with them again. You might be lucky enough that you kept on, but you just never know. It's definitely happened to me where a new team has come in and then I'm out. And if you've relied on that client and nothing else, you're a bit screwed really. So it is a really challenging job to keep up with. I'm always sending out emails, and it's hard not to get complacent because you sit there and you think, oh, I'm in a really good place. No point me emailing this person, that person, I've got my work. But then all of a sudden everything changes. So you do have to really, really be on it. I actually find this question really, really difficult to answer. I think it changes consistently, and I think it should because the industry is always changing. But my long-term goal was always to start up a brand. I would have loved to have had my own makeup brand, but I just think the market's so saturated now. Obviously, it's a great thing that people can, start their own companies, start their own brands, and get their own makeup and their own products out there. But I just think it's so impossible to compete on the market now. Like, everything seems to have done before, so I'm reassessing that one. I definitely do want to continue to sort of build on what I'm doing, get bigger campaigns. I want to see all my work all over town. I've been really, really lucky, and I have worked with some big companies, and I've seen my work in stores in the UK, and I really want to take it international too. I think that's something that sort of jumps you up to the next level. A lot of my work, it's either in a studio or in London locations, which I think when you're in the industry, you start to notice them all and you say, oh, I've seen that location, I've seen that one. So I think if I can if I can get out there traveling, get a few clients who take me around the world when we're allowed to travel again, that's a really big goal for me. Okay, so that's just like a little introduction to me. I would actually like to do some more like personal ones or more chatty videos in general, maybe in the sort of like get ready with me style. So if you do have any questions and you have any burning desires to know anything about me, then please do let me know, pop them in the comments box, and I'll either sort of like top them up and then do them in another video or just answer you directly. Also let me know what other content you would like to see coming up. I love filming requests directly for you. As you've seen, a lot of the videos I've done have been in sort of like a direct response to a question asked in my comments, so I'm actively looking out for them so that I can help you guys out the most. Thanks again for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel, and hopefully I'll see you again next time. Bye guys.